so now let's bring some images into this Photoshop file, okay? Some of these collected images that you have. So I pulled some new stuff. Some of these are like teacher, teaching on Zoom, because that's kind of my identity. And then some of them are shows that I've designed, right? Or other teachery things. So I've got all of this various stuff, okay, that is part of me as a designer and as a teacher. I'm gonna bring these into Photoshop, right? The quickest way to do it, if I'm like, I want all of them for sure, is to hold down Shift or Command and select them all. I don't need to select this Photoshop one, obviously, because that is the file itself that this is all going into. But I'll select all this other stuff, and I can just drag it, right? See, it says +13. I can just drag it to the Photoshop window and let go, right? And then, computer thinky, they're gonna come in one at a time, right? And I can be like, okay, that one maybe is this big. Let's put it over here for now. And then I hit the check mark, and that commits, right? Ooh, this is like the backstage of a theater. Cool, right? Check mark. So that is, as I bring them in, how I adjust their size, right? I figure out where I might want to put them, just roughly for now. This one is like a chalkboard texture, so I might put that behind everything else. So I make it gigantic, I hit the check mark, and then because it's a layering thing, right, I can slide it down below everything else. Did you see how I went over to this layers panel and I slid it down, right? So bottom to top is a stacking layer. Let's go back to the one that we're working with now. Okay, so Campo Maldito, that show just came in. Let's make that a little smaller. This is another project I designed. Make that a little smaller. Ooh, some colored pencils. Great, maybe those will go across the bottom of the screen, so I might make that a little bit bigger, just so that it kind of covers the whole bottom edge. Great. And I'm gonna come back in and change what is visible on some of these various things. So that's a hiking picture. There's a show, check mark. Some clouds. I don't know if I really want those clouds, but they're there. Check mark, right? So as I go through, oh, here's me teaching. Okay, that's all of them, right? So all of these files have now come in to my Photoshop as layers. And if you go down here and you can kind of drag this up if you need to see it a little bit better, each of them shows up and they have this little symbol, right? Because they've been imported as a linked smart object. You don't have to worry too much about that. But that's how they've pulled in, okay? So they're linked back to the files that are over here at this point. And what that means is if I were to make a change to one of those files, it would update in this file. But we're not gonna play that game. We're gonna work in this file completely today, okay? So now I have a stack of layers, right, from bottom to top, and I can sort of arrange things roughly the way that I might want them laid out, okay? And so I can be like, this should go here, right? If I want to change the size of something after I've hit that check mark, after it's come in, I hit Command T for transform, and then I can change its size, right? And right now you'll notice that it's scaling proportionally, right? So that means that it's keeping the same ratio. And if you wanted to scale it disproportionately, right? If you want it to like squish instead of scaling at the same rate, you can hold down Shift and that will let you squish, okay? So start out by pulling in your objects and your layers and sort of stacking them roughly over each other and then arranging them by scale, right? The other thing you can do in this process to help you kind of see what you're doing is you can use this eyeball to turn stuff on and off, right? So I can be like, oh, right, there's all these layers under here, but I couldn't see them because of the pencils layer, right? So you can turn things on and off as you work to sort of lay out your screen, okay? So go ahead and bring in your images and roughly arrange them by size, okay? And then I'll come back and give you another video that's about editing those layers and about using blend modes to stack things on top of each other in different ways. All right, great. Thanks, guys.